Good evening. Tonight, we follow the quiet footsteps of a night watchman walking through the ancient streets of a sleeping city. Gas lamps glow softly in the mist, and cobblestones shine beneath the night air. Before we begin, take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps the stories continue. The watchman will be making his rounds again tomorrow night. Now, breathe slowly, relax, and drift gently into rest as the ancient city sleeps. Stone beneath boots, the hiss of gas lamps igniting one by one. The plaza opens vast and empty, its cobblestones still damp from evening mist. Clock tower bells fade into silence, their resonance dissolving into the fog that clings to medieval archways. One by one, amber flames flicker to life within brass fixtures, casting long shadows across the old fountain at the plaza's heart. The fountain's stone rim glistens in the spreading glow. Water murmurs softly in its basin, an ancient sound unchanged through centuries. Gas lamps continue their methodical ignition, their halos growing brighter as darkness deepens. The narrow alleys branching from the plaza remain shrouded, their stone walls holding the night close. Wrought iron gates stand dark and silent at the district entrances. The leather-bound notebook rests ready, waiting for observations to be inscribed in its pages. Cobblestones stretch in geometric patterns, worn smooth by centuries of passage. The gas lamps create an amber world of stone and shadow. Facades of shuttered buildings emerge from darkness, their windows sealed against the night. The city breathes quietly, untouched and still. Stone beneath boots, the hiss of gas lamps igniting one by one. The plaza opens wide, its ancient cobblestones still damp from evening dew. Each lamp flares to life in sequence, casting pools of amber across the weathered square. The old fountain at the center catches the glow, water lapping softly against its worn stone basin. Above, the clock tower looms silent now, its bells fading into the night air. Narrow medieval alleys branch outward from the plaza's edges, their tight passages lined with shuttered windows and ancient brick facades. The gas lamps thin along these routes, forcing deeper shadows between the buildings. Wrought iron gates guard the gated districts beyond, their metalwork corroded by centuries, rattling faintly in the cool night breeze. The air smells of damp stone and distant smoke from dying hearth fires. The leather-bound notebook rests ready, its worn cover catching occasional lamplight. The pages inside hold quiet observations, dates, times, the small details of the city's nightly rhythms. Tonight, the cobblestones gleam like dark glass. The gas lamp flames flicker and settle, creating a slow dance of light against the medieval stonework. Above the narrowing alleyways, roof tiles glisten, while chimney stacks stand sentinel against the starlit sky. The city breathes softly, its ancient pulse measured in the rhythm of flame and shadow. Stone beneath boots, the hiss of gas lamps igniting one by one. The plaza stretches empty and vast, its cobblestones still damp from the evening mist. The old fountain stands silent at the center, its basin catching fragments of lamplight that flicker and settle across the water's surface. Narrow alleys branch outward from the plaza, their medieval stonework fading into shadow. The gas lamps along these passages burn with a soft, uneven glow, casting elongated shadows across weathered walls. Above, the clock tower looms against the darkening sky, its bells now silent, leaving only the ambient whisper of the sleeping city. The air carries the faint scent of stone dust and cooling metal. Gated districts remain sealed behind wrought iron, their entrances dark and still. The leather-bound notebook rests nearby, ready to capture the quiet observations of the night, each page waiting to document the small details that only darkness reveals. The plaza settles deeper into its nightly rhythm. Lampposts flicker steadily along the perimeter, their golden halos softening the edges of buildings and archways. The city breathes in stillness, awaiting the hours of darkness that stretch ahead, stone beneath boots. The hiss of gas lamps igniting one by one. The central plaza opens wide and empty, its cobblestones still damp from the evening air. Clock tower bells fade into silence, their echoes dissolving into the narrow alleys that branch like veins from the plaza's heart. Gas lamps cast their amber glow across the medieval facades, weathered stone worn smooth by centuries. Dark windows reflecting nothing. The old fountain stands in the plaza's center, its basin still and silent. Wooden shutters line the alleyways, drawn and latched. The city exhales into the cool night. Iron railings border the gated districts beyond the plaza, their bars throwing thin shadows across the pavement. The air carries the faint mineral scent of wet stone and the subtle warmth of the lamp flames. Each gateway entrance stands shadowed and still. The streets beyond, obscured by the gentle fog beginning to drift through the alleys. The leather-bound notebook rests nearby, waiting. Across the plaza, the lampposts burn steadily, their light a steady rhythm against the encroaching darkness. The city remains suspended in quiet watchfulness, stone and shadow, gas and silence. Stone beneath boots, the hiss of gas lamps igniting one by one. The central plaza opens wide and empty, its cobblestones still damp from the evening's mist. A bronze fountain sits silent at the heart, water surface mirror still, catching the warm glow of newly lit flames. Clock tower bells have faded into memory. The city holds its breath. Gas lamps flicker to life along the perimeter, casting long shadows between weathered stone buildings. Medieval archways frame the narrow alleys branching away from the plaza, each passage dark and waiting. Wrought iron gates stand closed across the gated districts beyond. Lamplights dance across their ornamental patterns, creating shifting geometry on ancient walls. The fountain's gentle trickle echoes faintly through the stillness, the only sound in the plaza's vast quiet. The gentle pop of a lamp adjusting shadows dancing across ancient walls. Narrow alleys branch deeper into the medieval quarter, their stone surfaces slick with evening moisture. Cobblestones glisten beneath pools of amber light, each lamp casting its own sphere of warmth against the encroaching darkness. The gas lamps flicker in sequence, their fragile flames trembling behind glass. Soft amber pools spill across weathered brick and mortar, illuminating centuries-old surfaces. Damp stone breathes with the chill of night, its texture darkened by moisture that catches and reflects the lamplight in gentle glimmers. The alleys narrow further, their walls rising on either side. Shadows stretch and shift with each flickering flame, creating patterns that dance silently across the ancient stonework. The soft glow reaches into corners and crevices, revealing the intricate grain and weathering of centuries-old masonry. The lamps continue their gentle vigil throughout the winding passages. Each flame remains steadfast against the surrounding darkness, casting their warm circles onto cobblestones below, creating a luminous thread through the heart of the medieval district. Narrow alleys branch into shadow and amber light. Gas lamps stand silent along the stone passage, their brass fittings catching the faintest gleam. Wet cobblestones reflect the warm glow, each surface pooling with soft illumination. Medieval walls rise close on either side, their ancient mortar darkened by night and moisture. The air carries the faint metallic scent of burning gas and cool stone. Each lamp casts its own amber sphere into the darkness, small islands of warmth against the cold night. Shadows shift and lengthen across textured walls as the flames flicker behind glass. The cobblestones, still damp from earlier moisture, create a subtle sheen that mirrors every point of light. Stone archways frame deeper alcoves where darkness pools undisturbed, waiting beyond the reach of each lamp's gentle radius. The path winds deeper into the medieval quarter, where narrow passages open onto small courtyards. Fountain stones sit silent in the shadows, their surfaces still wet from the evening air. The lamps guide the eye through the labyrinth, each one positioned to illuminate the next turn, creating a continuous ribbon of golden light through the winding ways. Ancient wooden shutters frame darkened windows, and wrought iron fixtures cast ornate shadows across whitewashed facades. The night deepens in silence. Amber light and shadow continue their ancient dance across cobblestone and stone, each lamp a steadfast point in the city's slow progression through darkness toward dawn. The narrow alley narrows further, medieval stone walls rising close on either side. Wet cobblestones reflect amber light in scattered pools. Each lamp casts its own small sphere of warmth against the darkness, separated by stretches of shadow between them. The walls themselves hold the glow. Ancient brick and mortar catch and hold the golden hue. Moisture clings to the stone, making surfaces gleam. Where lamplight touches the wet ground, small mirror-like patches form, doubling the amber pools across the pavement. Shadows shift subtly as the gas flame flickers within its glass housing. The air carries the faint metallic scent of old metal and damp earth, the particular smell of a city that has stood for centuries. The alley opens slightly where it intersects with another passage. More lamplight spills across the crossing, creating a small island of visibility. Stone archways frame the intersecting streets, their surfaces worn smooth by generations of passage. The cobblestones here are particularly wet, perhaps from recent rain, or the spray of the old fountain in the distant plaza. Everything remains still and quiet, the city at rest. The lamps continue their steady vigil along the path ahead, each one a small beacon holding back the surrounding darkness. The narrow medieval passages stretch deeper into the sleeping city, their geometry defined by shadows and soft light. Narrow alleys branch like veins through the medieval quarter. Wet cobblestones reflect amber light, still glistening from recent rain. Gas lamps line the passage at irregular intervals, their brass fixtures tarnished by age and salt air. The gentle pop of a lamp adjusting echoes softly. Shadows shift and dance across the ancient stone walls, stretching and receding with each flicker of the flame. Each lamp casts its own warm pool onto the pavement below, creating islands of golden light separated by patches of deep shadow. The stonework gleams where moisture clings to mortar and brick. Architectural details emerge and fade with the dancing flame. Carved lintels, worn decorative edges, the vertical seams of centuries-old construction. The alley narrows further ahead, where the lamps grow sparse and the darkness between them deepens. The scent of damp stone mingles with the faint metallic smell of gas and cooling brass. Cobblestones slope gently downward, worn smooth by countless nights of passage. The lamps create a rhythmic visual pattern: light, shadow, light, shadow, leading deeper into the winding passages. Above, the sky is invisible between the high walls, leaving only the stars as distant markers beyond the amber glow. Silence settles here, broken only by the occasional whisper of wind through the narrow space and the quiet tick of cooling metal. The narrow alley opens into shadow, its stone walls worn smooth by centuries. Moisture clings to the cobblestones, catching fragments of amber light. Gas lamps punctuate the passage at intervals, their glass panes dimmed by the damp night air. The air holds the faint metallic scent of old iron and lamp oil. Each lamp along the alley stands solitary, its brass fitting tarnished by weather and time. The flame within flickers softly, casting warm circles on the wet ground. Where light meets stone, texture emerges, the grain of ancient blocks, the glint of moisture between cobbles, the play of shadow in recessed doorways. The ambient temperature drops as the alley narrows further. A leather-bound notebook rests against one lamp post, its pages slightly curled from the evening moisture. The worn leather cover bears the patina of repeated use. Nearby, a small pool of water reflects the lamp above it, creating a mirror of golden light on the dark ground. The cobblestones slope gently, directing water toward the plaza below. The alley opens toward a larger space, the edge of the central plaza visible beyond. The old fountain stands indistinct in the middle distance, its stone silhouette barely distinguishable from the surrounding darkness. The transition from narrow passage to open square brings a shift in the quality of air and light, the lamps becoming more widely spaced as the path widens. Hollow echoes returning from sleeping buildings, a rhythm only the night hears. Stone beneath the lanes rings with sound, each footfall traveling far through the quiet air. The narrow alleys carry the reverberations along their medieval walls, bouncing from shuttered windows and weathered timber frames. No voice breaks the silence, only the percussion of soul against cobblestone, pure and hollow. The winding lanes open onto the central plaza, where the old fountain stands silent in the darkness. Gas lamps flicker with their soft, amber glow, casting long shadows across the damp stone. The light catches the curve of the fountain's basin, now still and glassy. Every corner of the plaza waits in stillness. Its gated archways leading deeper into the medieval quarters beyond. The narrow alleys branch outward in a web of ancient geometry, their walls rising close on either side. Moisture clings to the stone, catching the faint lamplight in thin streaks. Gated entrances to private courtyards fade into shadow, their ironwork just barely visible. The air itself seems to hold the city's age, cool and heavy with the presence of centuries. Sound travels through these lanes as if the buildings themselves carry it forward. Each echo answers the last, creating layers of resonance that seem to belong more to the stones than to any living thing. The night has its own rhythm here, sustained by silence and the persistence of architecture, a city sleeping while the ancient streets maintain their patient vigil. Cobblestone surfaces stretch through the medieval alleyways, worn smooth by centuries of passage. The winding lanes narrow between stone facades, their windows dark and shuttered. Gas lamps cast pools of amber light at intervals, each flame flickering gently against the cool night air. Echoes drift between the close-set buildings, sounds traveling far through the quiet streets, a hollow resonance that belongs only to the empty hours. The damp stone absorbs the night's chill, moisture glinting faintly where lamplight reaches. Alley walls rise on either side, their masonry textured and ancient, each stone holding centuries of stillness. No movement disturbs the settled quiet, only the occasional creak of a shutter in the breeze, only the distant hum of the gas lamps burning steadily in their brackets. The plaza lies ahead through the connecting passages, its fountain a silent presence waiting in the dark. The leather-bound notebook rests where observations are carefully noted, marked by the small hours of the night. Stone arches bridge narrow passages overhead, creating pockets of shadow between the golden light. The rhythm of the city at rest is one of silence, pure, undisturbed, and complete. Around each bend, the same quiet persists, the same ancient architecture standing witness to the passage of endless nights. Gated districts emerge from the darkness, their ironwork catching lamplight in thin lines. The fountain in the central plaza waits with still water, undisturbed. The city breathes in its sleep, stone and shadow and light, merging into a landscape where nothing moves. Nothing changes, and only the night continues its eternal watch. Sound carries differently through these winding lanes at night. Hollow echoes returning from sleeping buildings, a rhythm only the night hears. The stone walls rise close on either side, their surfaces damp with evening mist. Cobblestones beneath reflect the faint amber glow of distant gas lamps, each reflection trembling like a small flame. The narrow passages branch and turn, medieval architecture pressed tight against itself. Windows remain dark and shuttered, their frames casting thin shadows across the lane. The air holds the scent of stone and damp earth. undisturbed for hours. Occasional drips from gutters and downspouts mark time with isolated, clear notes echoing through the emptiness. Each corner opens to another stretch of lane, lined with closed doors and shuttered storefronts. The gas lamps thin here, their glow reaching only the nearest walls. Shadows pool deeper in doorways and beneath archways. The buildings seem to listen, their brick and stone surfaces catching and releasing each small sound that moves through the night. The city rests in its own quietness, held by ancient walls and winding paths that lead nowhere but deeper into the still night. Hollow echoes return from sleeping buildings, a rhythm only the night hears. Cobblestone lanes wind deeper into shadow, each stone worn smooth by centuries of passage. The sound travels far through quiet air, bouncing from medieval facades, traveling down narrow alleys where gas lamps cast their soft amber glow against damp walls. Stone surfaces cool and dark, waiting in stillness. Shuttered windows line the winding passages, their wooden frames locked tight against the night. A fountain in the distant plaza sits silent, its basin catching faint lamplight. The narrow medieval lanes branch in all directions, each passage distinct, with its own texture of aged brick and weathered mortar. Echoes linger longer here, where buildings stand close, where stone walls hold and return every sound. The gas lamp flames flicker softly, their glow reaching into corners and casting long shadows across the cobbles. Air itself seems heavy with the weight of hours, the deep quiet that settles in a city asleep, broken only by the hollow song of stone and stillness. A music the ancient streets know well. Sounds travel far through the winding lanes, a rhythm of stone and silence. Hollow echoes return from sleeping buildings, their darkened windows reflecting the faint glow of gas lamps. The cobblestone streets lie bare, their damp surfaces still gleaming from earlier moisture, catching fragments of yellow light. Narrow alleyways branch in all directions, their stone walls worn smooth by centuries. The medieval architecture stands resolute, shuttered doorways, arched passages, iron fixtures corroded by time. Above, the sky holds its darkness, undisturbed and absolute. The fountain in the central plaza sits still and silent, its stone basin holding collected rainwater that reflects the night sky. Gas lamps cast long shadows across the plaza, creating patterns that shift subtly in the breeze. The ancient buildings surrounding the plaza stand as witnesses to these quiet hours. Stone echoes stone. The city breathes with the cadence of its own architecture, ancient and unchanging, holding the weight of ages in every weathered surface and shadowed corner, water lapping softly. The hum of gas lamps surrounding the open space. The ancient fountain rests at the city's heart, its surface mirror still, catching and holding the warm amber glow of lamplight in gentle ripples. Stone edges worn smooth by centuries gleam faintly in the dark. Cobblestones radiate outward from this quiet center, damp from evening mist, each edge etched sharp in the wavering light. The fountain's basin holds the reflected glow like liquid gold. Lamplight flickers at intervals around the plaza perimeter, each flame steady behind its glass shroud, casting long shadows across the medieval facades that rise beyond. The water within the basin barely stirs, a testament to the stillness of the night. Stone arches framing the alleyways leading inward remain dark, their depth unmeasured by the lamp's reach. The plaza breathes with the quietness of an hour when the city itself rests. Damp air carries the faint, metallic scent of iron and aged stone. Lamplight continues its patient vigil, casting a steady halo across the fountain's edge. The water remains undisturbed, a perfect stage for the play of light and shadow. Beyond the plaza, narrow alleys branch into darkness, their cobblestone paths hidden from view, waiting in the cool evening for the long night to unfold. Water laps softly against the fountain's stone basin, each ripple catching and scattering the amber glow of nearby gas lamps. The lamps hum with their steady, quiet drone, casting pools of golden light across the plaza's cobblestones. The fountain's weathered surface reflects the night sky above, ancient stone darkened by centuries of exposure, its carved edges worn smooth by time. The plaza stretches outward in stillness, its open expanse framed by the narrow mouths of medieval alleys branching into shadow. Gas flame flickers within each lamp's glass housing, casting dancing shadows across the wet stone below. The air carries the faint mineral scent of stone and water, while moisture clings to the cobblestones from an earlier rain. The fountain basin deepens from center to rim, its circular form a geometric anchor within the irregular plaza. Lamplight traces the curves of water's surface, smooth, reflective, unbroken save for the gentle disturbances where droplets fall from the fountain's edge. The surrounding stonework stands silent, unchanged through countless nights, holding the plaza's stillness as firmly as it holds the light. At rest, the plaza awaits the turning of hours. The fountain's water settles into deeper calm. The lamps' glow softens into the darkness beyond their reach, and the old city holds steady in its timeless vigil. Water laps softly against the fountain's worn stone basin, each ripple catching the warm amber glow of gas lamps encircling the plaza. The ancient monument sits centered in the open space, its surface darkened by centuries of rain and quiet reflection. Around it, cobblestones gleam with moisture, creating a mirror to the flickering lights above. The gas lamps hum their familiar, steady song, a gentle mechanical whisper that has filled this plaza night after night. Each flame burns behind its glass shade, steady and unwavering, casting long shadows of the fountain's sculptured edges across the wet stones. The light spills into the narrow medieval alleys branching away, fading into darkness at their depths. Silence blankets the space, except for the soft percussion of water and the low hum of the lamps. The fountain's base is carved with patterns worn smooth by time, barely visible in the lamplight. The plaza itself seems to breathe, open, unguarded, waiting. Stone walls of the surrounding buildings stand austere and still, their windows dark, except for the reflected glow dancing across their old glass. The night holds the plaza in perfect stillness. Water continues its gentle motion. The lamps continue their low hum. And the city's ancient heart remains at rest, neither hurrying nor declining. simply existing in the measured quiet of the late hour. Water laps softly against weathered stone. The fountain rests at the plaza's center, its basin holding the reflection of amber lamplight. Gas lamps stand sentinel around the open space, their gentle hum a constant presence in the night air. The glow catches on the fountain's surface, creating patterns that shift with each small ripple. The surrounding medieval architecture frames the plaza in shadow and light. Cobblestones radiate outward from the fountain, worn smooth by centuries of passage. Narrow alleys branch into darkness beyond the lamp-lit perimeter, their stone walls slick with night moisture. The fountain's edge shows the grain of ancient marble, weathered but enduring. Lamplight flickers across the plaza floor, casting the fountain's shadow in slow, gentle waves. The water remains nearly motionless, disturbed only by rare drops from the stone spout above. Each ripple spreads outward, catches the glow, then settles into stillness once more. The city's ancient heart beats quietly in the darkness. The plaza holds its silence. Stone, water, and light exist in perfect balance. A moment suspended between dusk and deep night. The fountain stands as it has stood for generations, reflecting the careful watch that the city maintains over its own quiet streets. Water laps softly against the fountain's ancient stone basin. The surface mirrors the warm amber glow of gas lamps stationed around the plaza's perimeter. Each lamplight trembles slightly, casting dancing shadows across the weathered fountain's sculptured edges. The paving stones beneath remain damp from earlier rain, their cobbled surface gleaming with reflected radiance. The fountain's quiet burble continues its steady rhythm, echoing faintly through the open space. Stone archways frame the plaza on all sides, their medieval proportions casting longer shadows as the night deepens. Gas lamp flames flicker gently within their glass housings, creating a soft halo against the darkness beyond the square. The air carries the metallic scent of old water and aged masonry. The plaza settles into stillness. Lamplight continues its patient work, illuminating every curve of the fountain stone, worn smooth by centuries of weathering. The surrounding alleyways branch outward into shadow, their narrow passages silent and unremarkable. Above, the night sky holds distant stars, indifferent to the small circle of warmth and light maintained below. All remains at rest. The metallic click of tested hinges, a lock's quiet confirmation. Throughout the gated districts, wooden frames stand sentinel against the darkened stone facades. Iron latches gleam faintly in the amber wash of gas lamp light, their surfaces worn smooth by decades of use. Each gate, a threshold between the narrow alleyways and the private courtyards beyond, remains exactly as the evening left it, hinges undisturbed, bolts seated firmly in place. The craftsmanship of these barriers speaks through texture and weight. Heavy wooden panels, darkened by age and damp night air, rest against their frames with the solidity of centuries. Rust patterns on the iron, orange blooms spreading across older bolts, form a quiet record of seasons passing. The plaza's central fountain sounds distant now, its gentle murmur replaced by the deeper quiet of the gated passages where stone walls rise close and air feels heavier, cooler. Gate after gate presents its familiar arrangement, wood grain visible under lamplight, iron fittings catching reflection in drops of evening moisture still clinging to metal. The medieval alleyways branch inward, each passage sealed at the far end by another gate. Another latch. Damp stone beneath the gates holds the scent of earth and old iron. Nothing has shifted, nothing has been disturbed. The barriers stand as they have stood, patient and unmoved, defining the city's quiet geometry through the darkness. The rounds continue deeper into the gated districts, where gas lamps cast their familiar pools of amber onto stone walls and wooden frames. The leather-bound notebook remains at rest, its pages full of nights identical to this one. Here, at the thresholds and barriers of the ancient city, nothing demands recording, only the steady, silent confirmation that all remains secure and unmoved. The wooden gates stand silent along the narrow alleyways, their surfaces weathered by decades of night air and damp stone. Hinges catch the pale glow of gas lamps, metal worn smooth and dark with age. Each gate frames a passage into the gated districts beyond. Threshold, between the plaza and the quieter quarters. Iron latches rest in their fixtures, cold to the touch and immovable. The metallic click echoes briefly when mechanisms are tested, a lock's quiet confirmation that all barriers remain undisturbed. Chains hang coiled beside wooden frames, their links catching flickering lamplight in brief, silvered flashes. Stone archways frame each entrance, their surfaces inscribed with the passage of centuries. Shadows pool beneath the arches, deepening the sense of separation between illuminated streets and the darkness beyond. Cobblestones near the gates remain undisturbed, their patterns unchanged from hours before. The evening air moves through the alleyways with measured stillness, carrying the faint mineral scent of aged stone. Gas lamps flicker softly, casting dancing shadows across wooden panels and ironwork. All remain secure, all barriers firm in their frames. The city's perimeter held by countless small fasteners and enduring construction. Through the narrow medieval alleys, wooden gates stand sentinel at the entrances to gated districts. Each doorframe is weathered by decades of stone and salt air. Iron latches, darkened by age, hold fast against the night. The metallic click of tested hinges echoes softly, a lock's quiet confirmation of its function. Gas lamplight catches the intricate ironwork, casting delicate shadows across the timber. A heavy wooden gate swings slightly inward on its pivot, then settles back with a gentle groan. The iron hinges creak in the damp air, a familiar sound of the old city's bones shifting with temperature and moisture. Moisture beads on the metalwork where gaslight reflects. The latches remain unmoved, their bolts aligned true. Stone archways frame each entrance, their edges worn smooth by centuries of passage. The plaza's perimeter gates form a quiet boundary between the ordered streets and the darker passages beyond. Each barrier stands firm, securing the gated districts in their ordered stillness. The leather-bound notebook rests against stone, ready to record observations. Cobblestones around the gates remain undisturbed, their patterns unbroken. The gas lamps continue their patient vigil, their soft amber glow illuminating the iron and wood that holds the city's ancient quarters safe through the long night. The metallic click of tested hinges, a lock's quiet confirmation. Wooden gates rise from the cobblestones, their heavy frames aged and weathered by seasons of rain and cold. Iron latches rest in their fixed positions, each one a sentinel at the threshold of the gated districts. Stone archways frame the entrance to each narrow alley, their surfaces worn smooth by countless passing years. Wrought iron gates stand motionless, their ornate bars catching the faint amber glow of the distant gas lamps. Each latch remains undisturbed, exactly as it was left. The medieval barriers form a quiet maze of security throughout the city. Wooden doors line the branching passages, their surfaces dark and silent. Cold, damp stone surrounds each entrance, the smell of evening moisture clinging to the aged material. All remains secure and unmoved, the night passing in stillness and order. The metallic click of tested hinges, a lock's quiet confirmation. Wooden gates stand in shadowed archways throughout the gated districts, heavy oak frames banded with iron, their surfaces weathered by decades of night air and damp stone proximity. Iron latches gleam faintly where gas lamplight catches them, each mechanism simple and firm, designed to resist without complication. Along the narrow alleys branching from the central plaza, wrought iron gates frame the entrances to courtyards and private passages. Their bars form geometric patterns, diamonds, spirals, casting delicate shadows on cobblestones below. Rust blooms at their bases where moisture settles, but the hinges themselves remain oiled and responsive. Each gate rests slightly ajar or firmly shut, undisturbed in the still evening. Wooden doors line the older streets, their thick planks darkened by age and weather. Bronze knockers, handle plates, and bolts mark centuries of passage. Lock mechanisms, some simple, some intricate, wait in silence. The leather-bound notebook sits ready to record any sign of disturbance, any mark that might suggest movement or tampering, though the gates and doors themselves remain exactly as they have always been, secure against the medieval stone. Night deepens around the checkpoints. Distant cobblestones glisten with frost damp, while the barriers themselves, gates and doors alike, hold fast in the darkness. Gas lamp glow barely reaches into the recessed doorways and shadowed archways, leaving most barriers visible only as solid shapes, their fixtures and fastenings reduced to suggestion and silhouette against the stone walls behind them, pencil scratching softly against paper. The smell of old leather and ink mingles in the still air. Within a sheltered alcove carved into centuries-old stone, a gas lamp casts its warm, flickering glow across worn pages. The light dances gently, painting shadows that shift and settle against the alcove's recessed walls. The leather notebook lies open, its surface catching the amber luminescence. Ink marks rest upon the parchment, each line a detail of the evening's quiet rounds. The lamp continues its steady burn, the soft hiss of gas filling the narrow space. while cool stone radiates from the alcove's depths. Outside the alcove's shelter, the medieval plaza stretches silent and still. Damp cobblestones glisten faintly in the broader lamplight. The fountain's carved edges fade into shadow, while narrow alleys branch away into darkness, their emptiness undisturbed. Within the alcove, the leather binding rests against stone. The gas lamp's warmth persists, its glow steady and enduring. The city's ancient fabric encloses this small, illuminated refuge, a moment suspended between the echoing passages and the vast night beyond. The alcove shelters a narrow recess carved into stone centuries old. Gas lamplight pools yellow and amber, casting gentle shadows across the weathered wall. The leather notebook rests against the cool surface, its pages worn soft from age. Pencil marks trace careful lines across the paper, each stroke deliberate and precise. The smell of aged leather mingles with iron-edged ink, thick in the sheltered air. The gas lamp burns steady, its flame dancing behind the frosted glass. Light flickers across the stone surface, revealing grain and texture in the ancient blocks. The notebook's binding shows creases from countless nights of careful documentation. Ink pooled in the bottle cap catches the lamplight. Dark and still. Damp cobblestones visible at the alcove's edge glisten faintly beyond the warm glow. The sheltered space holds a quiet stillness. Stone walls rise on either side, creating a narrow passage between the wider plaza beyond. The lamp's soft hiss provides a gentle acoustic anchor to the night. Pages turn slowly, the leather binding creaking with age. Above, the alcove's arch frames a slice of dark sky. The pencil rests momentarily, the notebook waiting in the amber light as the city's medieval streets settle into deep quietude around this solitary refuge. The alcove deepens the silence. Stone walls rise on three sides, their surface worn smooth by centuries of weather and touch. The gas lamp casts its amber glow downward, pooling light across the weathered pages of the leather notebook. The pages themselves are cream-colored and lined, marked with careful observations in dark ink. The texture of the paper catches the lamplight at each curve of script. Cold air lingers in the alcove, carrying the faint mineral scent of damp stone. The leather binding of the notebook releases its aged fragrance, subtle notes of tannin and preservation oil. The pencil rests against the page's edge, its wood grain visible in the golden light. Ink dries slowly in the cool air, the smell of it mixing with the burnt oil aroma of the gas lamp above. The lamp's flame flickers gently, casting slow shadows across the stone alcove. These shadows move like water across the notebook's pages, then recede. The gas burner hisses softly at its own rhythm, a quiet, persistent sound beneath the stillness of the plaza beyond. The light itself is warm against the cool stone, creating a small pocket of refuge in the darkness. The notebook lies open, its pages filled with dated entries and careful notations. The leather cover bears creases from years of use, each one a record of nights spent documenting the city's quiet hours. Around the alcove, The stone walls curve inward as if containing the light, holding the warmth, preserving the moment of stillness before the watch resumes its path through the sleeping streets. Within the sheltered alcove, shadows pool against worn stone walls. The gas lamp casts its amber glow upward, illuminating the corner niche where leather and aged paper rest in stillness. The flame flickers with a gentle rhythm, casting dancing light across the alcove's recessed surfaces. Old leather binds the notebook, its cover darkened by years of handling. Nearby, a pencil rests against the book's spine, waiting in the warm light. The alcove itself becomes a study in texture and tone. Weathered stone surrounds the small space, its surface marked by centuries of exposure to night air and rain. Fine mortar lines trace across the walls, barely visible in the lamplight. The gas lamp's brass stem catches the flame, warm and solid against the chill of the medieval structure. Pages lie open, their edges soft and slightly yellowed, each surface absorbing the golden radiance from above. Beyond the alcove, the night city remains quiet. Cobblestones extend into darkness, wet from earlier moisture. The gas lamp's light fades gradually toward the edges of the alcove, where the narrow alley beyond remains in shadow. The leather notebook and pencil sit in the pool of warmth, surrounded by the muted grays and blacks of sleeping stone. The flame continues its gentle dance, casting brief, shifting patterns across every surface. The alcove holds its moment of stillness. Ink and paper exist in silent presence, the lamp's golden circle defining this small refuge. Around the sheltered nook, the ancient city breathes with the patience of centuries, while the notebook and its companion objects rest in the quiet geometry of light and shadow. Within the sheltered alcove, the gas lamp casts its warm amber glow across aged stone walls. The flame flickers gently inside its glass globe, casting dancing shadows that shift with each breath of night air. Leather and aged paper emanate their quiet scent into the still alcove, the smell of ink, of time, of careful records kept. The notebook lies open, its weathered pages yellowed by years of weather and observation. Beside it rests the pencil, its worn tip ready for marking. The lamp's glow pools across the page, leaving the corners of the alcove in soft shadow. Above, the stone vault curves protectively, shielding this quiet workspace from the damp night beyond. Beyond the alcove's threshold, the cobblestone plaza stretches silent and empty, its surface still moist from earlier moisture. The central fountain stands motionless, its stone basin catching glints of lamplight from the street lamps scattered throughout the square. Narrow medieval alleys branch into darkness, their entrances like closed doors watching over the sleeping city. The gas lamp continues its quiet vigil, its steady flame, the only movement in this pocket of the night. Time moves slowly here, marked only by the texture of worn leather, the grain of aged paper, and the patient glow of flame against ancient stone. Wind whistles between ancient buildings, carrying the distant call of a night bird across the sleeping quarters. The oldest streets rise steeply here, Their medieval walls forming canyon-like passages where the gas lamps cast only pockets of amber light. Stone, worn smooth by centuries, slopes beneath cobblestones. And the air carries the damp smell of weathered brick and moss. The alleys narrow progressively, some barely wider than the span of an arm. Wrought iron signs creak softly on their hinges above shuttered doorways. Shadows pool deeper in the recessed door frames and beneath the arched passages that connect one lane to another. The gas lamps here are fewer, spaced further apart, casting dancing light across the uneven facades. Water drips from gutters worn thin, creating small echoes in the silence. The fountain from the central plaza is now distant, its steady murmur replaced by the sharper sounds of wind against stone and the occasional scrape of ivy against a wall. Medieval archways frame the intersections ahead, their keystones darkened by centuries of rain and time. Midnight deepens in these quarters. The leather-bound notebook rests in its usual place, ready to receive whatever quiet observations these oldest streets offer before the night wanes toward dawn. Wind whistles between ancient buildings, the distant call of a night bird echoing through the darkness. Medieval walls rise higher here, their stone surfaces catching fragments of lamplight. The cobblestones are slick with moisture, reflecting the pale glow of the gas lamps spaced at long intervals along the narrowing alleys. The alleyways twist and converge, each turn revealing older architecture. Weathered facades lean inward slightly, their brick and mortar darkened by centuries of rain and fog. Iron window grills are silent and motionless. The narrow passages channel the night air, creating subtle currents that stir dust and fallen leaves across the stone beneath. Gas lamps cast pools of amber light at irregular intervals, creating zones of warmth surrounded by deeper shadow. Stone archways frame doorways sealed for the night. The air carries the scent of old brick and damp earth, mingled with the faint metallic odor of lamp oil burning in the quiet hours. Above, the narrow strip of sky visible between roof lines holds only darkness and distant stars. The medieval quarters rest in their deepest stillness, their ancient structures standing unchanged through countless nights like this one. Wind whistles between ancient buildings, the distant call of a night bird cutting through the stillness. The oldest quarters of the city reveal themselves in layers of weathered stone, medieval walls rising higher with each turn, their surfaces worn smooth by centuries. Gas lamps cast a flickering amber glow across damp cobblestones, creating shifting shadows that dance across mortar and brick. The alleys grow narrower here, passages barely wider than the span of outstretched arms. Stone archways bridge overhead, their keystones carved with patterns dulled by age. The air carries the scent of earth and old masonry, mingled with the faint metallic warmth of the gas lamps. Moisture glistens on the cobbles, reflecting fragments of lamplight like scattered coins. In the depths of these medieval passages, the night assumes a different quality, heavier, older, holding the silence of centuries. The stone walls seem to absorb sound itself. A leather-bound notebook rests nearby, its pages worn from countless quiet observations. The city's ancient heart beats on, indifferent and eternal, beneath the steady flicker of the night watch lamps. Wind whistles between ancient buildings, the distant call of a night bird echoing through the narrow passage. Stone walls rise higher here, their weathered faces catching fragments of lamplight. Cobblestones below are slick with evening moisture, reflecting the pale glow from overhead. Medieval architecture closes in around the alley. Carved cornices and iron fixtures fade into shadow above, while gas lamps cast elongated pools of amber onto the paving stones. The air carries the scent of old masonry and damp earth, undisturbed in these quiet hours. Silence deepens as the oldest quarters reveal themselves. Narrow passages branch off into darkness, their entrances marked only by weathered doorways and iron-banded gates. The gentle hiss of gas flames burns steadily within their fixtures, casting dancing shadows across centuries-old brick. Above, stars pierce the night sky between the tight geometry of rooflines. Distant and patient, wind whistles between ancient buildings, carrying with it the distant call of a night bird. Stone walls rise higher here in the oldest quarters, their surfaces rough and weathered by centuries. Narrow alleys branch in all directions, barely wider than a person's shoulders. The cobblestones are slick with evening dampness, each stone fitted close to its neighbor in patterns that speak of ages past. The gas lamps grow sparser as the alleys deepen. Where light does fall, it casts sharp shadows across the medieval facades. Arched doorways and low windows are shuttered tight. Stone archways frame passages that twist and turn, creating a labyrinth of darkness between buildings. The air is cool and still, with only the occasional gust disturbing the silence. Gated iron barriers mark the boundaries of older districts, their ornamental ironwork black against the faint glow. Moss and lichen cling to the lowest stones where moisture collects. The walls seem to lean inward slightly, as if the ancient city is drawing deeper into itself in these dark hours. Above, the night sky is barely visible between the eaves of peaked roofs. The stone beneath retains the cool memory of the day. The world still asleep, yet a subtle shift in the air as night surrenders to morning. The gas lamps flicker with diminished purpose, their warm glow now competing with the first pale wash of light creeping across the eastern rooftops. Stone facades catch these early rays, their medieval surfaces emerging from shadow like memory returning from sleep. The air holds that peculiar stillness before dawn, no breeze, no sound. Only the faint metallic scent of cooling lamp oil and damp stone. The central plaza's fountain rests in silvered silence, its water surface barely rippled, catching fragments of emerging light. Cobblestones glisten faintly with night's residual moisture, their ancient surfaces worn smooth by centuries of passage. Narrow alleys branching from the plaza fade into shadow still, but the deepest darkness is lifted, a subtle gradation from charcoal to gray. The gated districts beyond hold their shapes and outline, architectural details slowly gaining definition as dawn advances incrementally through the stone. The leather-bound notebook rests closed, its final entries recorded in the night's depths. Above the rooflines, the eastern sky deepens its palette, indigo yielding to violet, violet to the promise of rose. The lampposts stand patient in their positions around the plaza, their flames now ornamental rather than essential. Every arch, every window frame, every corner where shadow pooled begins to surrender its darkness. The city's stone bones emerge fully into the approaching day, waiting for the full bloom of sunlight. The vigil nears completion as the eastern horizon brightens steadily. That moment when night releases its hold and morning claims the ancient streets, the world rises toward consciousness. Stone and sky meet in a line of shifting light. The eastern sky softens at its edge, shifting from deep indigo to the pale gray of approaching dawn. Gas lamps still flicker along the cobblestone streets, their warm glow fading against the gradual brightening. The fountain in the central plaza catches this transitional light, water cascading in faint silver streams, no longer brilliant, but gently luminous. Stone buildings lining the narrow medieval alleys begin to emerge from shadow. Weathered facades reveal their textures, mortar lines, ivy-covered walls, the rough grain of ancient brickwork. Damp patches on cobblestones glisten where night's moisture still clings, reflecting the earliest hints of dawn light filtering between rooftops. A leather-bound notebook rests on a weathered stone ledge, its pages, edges catching the changing light. The gated districts beyond remain still, their iron barriers now discernible in darker silhouette against gradually brightening air. The world hovers in suspension, night not yet released, day not yet fully arrived. Air grows cooler, carrying the scent of stone and earth as night releases its final breath. The plaza, the alleys, the ancient structures, all pause in this gentle threshold, waiting in quiet stillness as the eastern horizon continues its slow, patient transformation toward morning. The eastern sky holds the first whisper of gray. Along the central plaza, the fountain's stone basin catches this nascent light, its surface still and mirror-like. Gas lamps flicker weakly now, their amber glow fading into irrelevance as the natural world reclaims the night. Damp cobblestones glisten where shadows once held complete dominion. The medieval archways branching into narrow alleys begin to reveal texture and depth, mortar joints, weathered stone edges, the intricate grain of centuries-old walls emerging from darkness. A leather-bound notebook lies resting on a cold stone ledge, its pages no longer requiring lamplight to be read. The air itself shifts, no longer the thick, settled silence of deep night, but something lighter, expectant. The city's breath changes. Gated districts remain locked and still, their iron barriers casting long, fading shadows across the plaza. Somewhere distant, a church bell's brass catches the first true rays, and the night watch, in all its patient, solitary forms, approaches its final moments before the city fully wakes. The eastern sky begins to pale, where deep indigo once held absolute dominion. Now the faintest wash of gray-blue emerges above the distant rooftops. The gas lamps, still burning faithfully along the cobblestone streets, grow less vital by the minute, their orange glow increasingly feeble against the approaching daylight. The central plaza fountain stands silent, its waters no longer reflecting the dancing flame of distant lamps, but beginning to mirror the soft clarity of pre-dawn. Stone upon stone, medieval and weathered, absorbs this subtle shift. The air itself seems lighter, fresher, the dampness of deep night gradually yielding to the crispness of early morning. Narrow alleyways between old buildings hold shadows still. But these shadows are thinner now, less absolute. The leather-bound notebook lies closed on the stone bench, its pages holding the night's quiet observations. Above, the medieval gables and chimney stacks frame a sky no longer wholly dark, a threshold moment. Neither night nor day. The city remains at rest, unaware of this gentle transition. Cobblestones glisten faintly with residual damp. The gated districts beyond the plaza remain shuttered and still. And so the vigil completes itself, not with drama, but with this quiet surrender of darkness to the inevitable dawn. The eastern horizon begins to soften. Above the distant roof lines, a pale gradient emerges, deep indigo, surrendering to gray. The gas lamps still burn steadily, their warm amber glow now competing with the earliest traces of dawn light. Damp cobblestones reflect this subtle shift, their surfaces catching both lamplight and the first whispers of daybreak. The fountain in the central plaza stands silent and still, its stone basin growing gradually more visible as natural light seeps across the ancient city. The medieval alleyways remain cloaked in shadow, though their darkness has shifted, less absolute than before. The air itself feels different, carrying that indefinable quality where night truly begins to release its grip. Stone surfaces of the old buildings emerge more clearly from shadow. The leather-bound notebook rests in quiet completion, its pages holding the observations of the long night. The gated districts remain closed and still, while overhead, the sky transitions through imperceptible shades, from charcoal to dove gray to the faint blush of approaching dawn. The lamps flicker softly as their fuel begins to diminish naturally. The city waits in that suspended moment between darkness and light, when the world exists in neither state fully. The fountain's stone edges catch the first genuine hints of sunrise, and the ancient cobblestones settle into the patient stillness of approaching morning. If this story helped you relax, consider subscribing to the channel. New peaceful stories are published every week. Good night.